Episode 1, Turnabout Visitor, March 14th, 1:16 AM. God knows when, or where. Not so much the when, but to make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what the cost. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. March 14th, 2:05 AM, Prosecutors Building, 12th floor hallway. Hello everyone, Triple S here and welcome to Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. I always get confused about which part of the title goes where in that, but yeah, we knew the when, we didn't know the where, but apparently we're now in the Prosecutors Building, and this is a game all about Miles Edgeworth, so I'm going to play this at the same time as playing Apollo Justice. And I'm pretty sure this game takes place before Apollo Justice, but after Trials and Tribulations, so, you know. But, anyway, let's jump in and see how different this is to regular Ace Attorney. It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. Huh? The door is unlocked. Detective Gumshoe? Huh? What's this smell? It's very familiar. Blood? What the? What's the meaning of this? Freeze. Identify yourself. Shut up. Huh. You got some nerve committing murder in a prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? ... Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrust into a multitude of cases and some very frantic and busy days. March 14th, 2:56 AM, High Prosecutor's Offices, room 1202. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir. Ah! Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Are you okay, sir? So he's back to his... If this takes place after Trials and Tribulations, he's gone back to his green jacket and isn't wearing the khaki one that... Who was it who bought it for him? Was it Maggie? God, I can't remember now. Someone bought him a new jacket and it was khaki coloured. But apparently he's gone back to his green jacket. Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard that a murder had taken place in your office, I ran up here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with the local precinct, and the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However... Ah! Look what they did to your office. It's totally trashed. I'll say the culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. I read that wrong. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Whoa, sounds like you're getting really burned up over the whole thing. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Ho ho, that's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads or information we find etched into the forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why of all places did the murder occur in my office? Oh, is it really a coincidence that the murder took place in my office? I get the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really. Especially because of this. The key to your office. For security reasons, this office's door has a lock built into it. What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. So how do you use it? First I recall information through the logic button and then connect them together. Now to touch the logic button and recall the facts. So we click logic. And we connect. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks, which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as mere coincidence. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? The killer's goal. Why did this happen in my office? What was the killer after? You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. I can't read properly today. Having a tough time. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir. High Prosecutor's Offices, room 1202. The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir. I know that, and when I want to examine something, I simply touch the examine button. If you ever feel lost and want to talk, just touch the partner button, okay? I'll give you great precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose. Right, so I think I can use the arrow keys, yeah I can. Or I can just click on here, but the arrow keys are better. So it says, the gun. Examine the gun. What have we here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? If so, it would mean that the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here. I think I've seen one of these before. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know. I was issued the exact same model, I think. Detective. I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're really dangerous. But now that I think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much, except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognise it. So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by this precinct's detectives. Found at the crime scene, it's the same model as those used by precinct detectives, the revolver. So we've got some more logic there. Now we go and look at the dead body. Poor guy. They finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine this area. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. And I expected this typical examine thing from the other games. So we'll look at this should be the badge. What do we have here? Hey, I think I've seen one of these before. It's a police badge, detective. Oh hey, I have the exact same thing actually. What a coinkydink. Let's take a look inside. Mr. Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. Victim was a detective, according to his badge and ID, Buddy Faith was a precinct detective. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to calmly use some logic and figure out if any of them are connected to each other. Okay, apparently we don't do that yet, but we look at the dead body first. Let's see here. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. Looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. Yep, and until the autopsy is done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. Please have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crime scene. Crime scene notes. Jot it down in my organiser. Are you going to be okay with keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course, this is the safest way I know to keep track of it all. Right, if you say so. I keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organiser. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have but to touch the organiser button. God damn it, Edgeworth. Your speech. But the organiser isn't only for evidence, I keep people's profiles on hand in it too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often. And now we check these files. Your files were all over the floor, sir. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Signs of a struggle, and my files are a mess, pointing to a struggle between the victim and the killer. Oh, and I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, this just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I watered the flowers every day, just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place till it sparkled. Does he have a life at all? Wait a minute, didn't Edgeworth say that he hoped Gumshoes kept the place clean and stuff? I don't know. Anyway, now we're going to jump into logic here. We've got to connect the victim was a detective with the revolver. We should get something new here. The revolver, the standard model used by detectives. Could it have belonged to our recently departed? Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see. What have we got here? Miss Edgeworth, sir, the guy's wearing a gun holster. So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Victim's revolver data jotted down in my organiser. I can't wait to say court record. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. As I always say, you've got to look really carefully at each piece of evidence. You can use the scroll wheels to rotate an object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. Use the slide bar of the X and Y arrows to zoom in and out and get at the nitty gritty. Okay, so what we're looking at here. Okay, we're looking at the chamber, I do believe. Oh my god. I think it's here that it's talking about. Yeah, there we go. Looks like only one round was fired from this. Wow, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot after wresting the gun from him? Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof for now, but that is a distinct possibility. I guess this is about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to our... Jim! Why, oh why? How could this have happened to a guy like you? Are you alright? Don't touch me! Leave me alone! Just let me be! Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him! Jim looks like he's just turned in for the night. Sure, just in a bloodstained suit, pal. Where are my manners? Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes, I am. I'm Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime, busting. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I am also a prosecutor. Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So you're Miles Edgeworth. I guess this is your office. Yes, that is correct. Then it was you. You're the one who killed Jim. Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not. I know how things work around here. High prosecutor's office doors all have locks built into them. and only the owner of the office has the key to his or her own office door. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah, Miss Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So the only one who could get in here was me. Wait, that means... I'm not sure what that means. So it was you then? You're Jim's killer? No way, pal, you got it all wrong. Everyone calm down. Mr. Portsman, correct. If you are a real prosecutor, you should know how to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Alright, I get the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. You sure are one cool customer though, Miss Edgeworth. I've heard all the rumours about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know. Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? A pleasure to work with you. You guys were conducting your investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on then. It's your room after all. Thank you, I intend to. Just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there, sir. I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner Jim. I should probably give them some space. Okay, what we're gonna do here. We've got to go examine this. Ah, your jacket, sir. What's it doing on the floor? Must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round. So the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well? They dared to shoot the ultra special jacket that you made your prosecutorial debut in? Prosecutorial? Goddamn, what a word. What if they had shot through it? It would have been a disaster. It's not worth getting worked up over, detective. Not when there's something more here. Huh? Like what? I take it you haven't noticed it yet, detective. There is a giant contradiction right here in front of us. Really? Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. But I have my own methods and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, that's when my deductive skills come into play. First I have to just find the spot that holds the contradiction. Well, that's pretty obvious. It's there. This is it. This bullet hole is where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should touch the deduce button with conviction. Deduce. And when I have found sufficient proof to prove the contradiction, I present it. This is how I do things. So... victim's revolver. This bullet hole is the contradiction. What do you mean, sir? It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first felled the victim, and the second felled this frame. Hey, that's right. However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true too. Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? Another handgun other than the victim's gun that I found? Could there be another gun in play here? By the way, I noticed something, sir. Yes? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Ah, that is a secret safe. A secret safe? Ooh, I smell money. I'll spare us the trouble and just say it's nothing like what you're imagining is inside. And if you could kindly move this frame out of the way... Roger that. Talk about dusty. I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while. I had no idea that there was a safe here and I kept it clean for you, sir. So when did you put this thing in? It wasn't something I had installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea. Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Right now, nothing. We only use them to store especially important evidence when a trial is in session. That's it. Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. Secret safe data jotted down in my organizer. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. What am I looking at here? The panel? Yeah. Huh? Now this is odd. You found something, sir? This keypad, don't you find it to be a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, the forensic scientist. Yes, sir. Could you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. I couldn't find, let alone lift a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well. White fingerprints. All the fingerprints on this have been wiped clean off. Secret safe data updated in my organizer. As I thought, it appears that logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly play connect the dots with the information we have. So, we jump into logic, and we connect the killer's goal with the wiped fingerprints. I believe I have figured out what the murderer was after. Well, what is it, sir? The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. Motive theft? The culprit tried to open my safe. Was the killer's motive theft? I wonder if knowing that the motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other piece of information can tell me about this crime. So we're back in here, now we do signs of a struggle with the theft. Connect. There is a possibility that the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, you mean like it could be from when the killer tried to find something, sir? Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen. Yes, sir, I'm gonna shelve files like you've never seen before, even at a library. Sure, let's give that a try. Why do all the good ones always die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Miss Edgeworth. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth. And? That's what we're supposed to do. How do we go about finding the truth? First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place. You got it. Here, let me help. So this file goes here, and that book goes there. You sure know a lot about where things go despite it being Miss Edgeworth's office. Because I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal. Okay, done. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here. The bloodstains of the bookshelf are still fresh. I suspect that the victim was killed in a standing position, hence the prints on the shelf. Then the guy fell onto the floor, right? The blood on the floor's kinda grossing me out. Detective, I don't have the time to deal with your weak stomach right now. But you know I'm no good with blood, sir. I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it's these I have to click on. Wait. Oh wait, sorry, I'm getting big. We got mixed up in where I was in the guide. We deduce there. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? That's it. Crime scene notes. Pretty sure this is it. Eureka! There's clearly a contradiction here with this bullet hole. Well, what do you mean, sir? You don't see? Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up. What if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir? That would be illogical. The victim leaned against this shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot. That means... Wait, what does that mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption. And it was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. What's the faulty assumption that caused this problem with the bullet hole's position? The position of the body, the position of the handprints, the order of the files. The order of the files. I believe the order of the files is a bit off. You mean I put them back in the wrong order just now? Hey, actually, I think the labels on the files are wrong, sir. Oh? Yeah, you see here how the files that were shot begin with the number 0? What are those doing all the way down there, after 1, 2 and 3? That's really weird. Actually, the way they are organised now is the correct order. They're exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. Those white bindings are special, so they are arranged a little differently. But from this, we know that the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. Aha! So that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you just did, Detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find. Out. Find out. Do you think it'd be okay to prop the body back up to how it was before it was moved? They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through my files first before shooting Mr. Faith. And then put the files back in numerical order, I guess. Exactly, and then proceeded to shoot the victim. Why would someone kill a man and then look through your files one more time? Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after the crime, but why? Files in disarray, the culprit rearranged my files twice, once before and once after the murder. Why? Now the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder, time to give it another look. And the first thing we've got to notice is that there's some bloody writing over here. This! What is that? Why does it say Gumshoe on there in blood? I'd say it's some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. No, wait, there's got to be some mistake. Miss Edgeworth, sir, help me, say something, sir. It appears that one of my files was stolen. Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation? Is this what the killer was really after? Stolen file data jotted down in my organiser. Investigation complete. Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. And this most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. You can't be terribly pleased to hear about your beloved partner is the guilty party. That your beloved partner is the guilty party. If you are going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up. Jim's words, they're more than enough, wouldn't you say? If that's how you want to play it, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it. I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. There must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out. Miss Edgeworth, what are you going to do? As I always do in court, I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique. Ooh, how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? We might as well. Alright, first I listen to the witness's testimony. If I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence, I open the organiser and present the piece of contradictory evidence. To present something, I simply touch the present button, but that's old news. But it's not like there's going to be a flaw in their testimony every time, right? Correct, and at those times I need to press the witness by touching the press button. Sometimes by pressing I can draw out new information, and new or modified testimony. I think I get it, sir. I'll be sure to try this technique out during investigations too. Very well, I'll even show you how it's done. Now watch carefully. I like his argument. Mr. Portsman's logic. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer? I can hear Jim's voice and he's calling for his killer's arrest. Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Portsman? There is no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I will find the flaw in this man's logic and expose it with credible evidence. Rebuttal. So we've got to go to statement 4. What is it? But thanks to that, okay. Ah, I can skip it for the first time through, thank God. But thanks to that, okay, we present the stolen file. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. Heh, bringing a bit of the courtroom into this, I see. No problem, I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. But what are you talking about? Oh, you're joking, I get it. If you had the time to laugh, then you have the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? That's impossible. What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on that shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines. It's possible that they could have taken the file before committing the murder. I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters in the detective's name where the file should be is proof. Yeah, I mean the S is gone and there's only half an H. If Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case, I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written in blood on the files. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. That just reminded me of the seagull. You know, the seagull that throws its head back and then, you know, goes fun and goes, ha ha ha. Which means, what exactly? What does that make of this dying message? It makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. That's so low, I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir. I'm gonna get him, sir. You'll see. I'm gonna have them under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Portsman? Brilliant! Absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold. I appreciate the praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed. You win some, you lose some. That's how life goes. Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. Ah, but you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. What is it this time? You still after me, pal? Humour me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. There. But Mr. Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence. God, I can't read. Then why do I sense that you still have something to say? What are you doing? Well, I was thinking, did you know there is one other person with a key to this office? One other person? Hey, you there. Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady here for me? A lady? The girl is a member of this building's security. Think of her as a material witness. Security? Did you say security? No! Stop it, pal, don't! What's wrong with him all of a sudden? I believe she needs no introduction. I have called upon Miss Maggie Bird, a member of security. Hello. Hey, you're wearing the Blue Badger shirt. That's cool. I like looks like feathers on your jacket as well. That's cool. Detective Gumshoe, sir. Maggie. Miss Bird is a security guard on watch tonight. I see, and your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key which can open all the office doors in this building. What? If you are not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird. How dare you! I would never sneak into someone's room. That's right. I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me. That's right, I did it. Can we take that as a confession, Detective? Well, it wasn't really me, but it definitely wasn't Maggie either, pal. So yeah, it was me. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right? Please refrain from flying off the handle, Detective. There's no need for such theatrics. Listen to your boss, Detective. He understands what I'm saying here. girl is the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. Uh-oh. Another argument, reason for suspicion. It's pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. Meaning Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, and that leaves only Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all that more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. If you really believe that, you're an idiot. So you're saying she used the master key. Master key data jotted down in my organiser. Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well. That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially for an athlete like me. I wonder if there was anyone else other than Miss Bird who could have used the master key. It seems like the only way to get Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him. Okay, so we press statement 1. Are you sure Miss Bird is the only member of security who could have used the master key? There's only one person on staff at this time of night, and tonight she's it. Isn't that right, Miss Bird? That's, true, but... Oh, feathers on her shirt and she's a bird. Just got that. But wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, moving on. I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated. What do you mean unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal. But you can't really trust her not to tell lies, plus I hate wasting time. Should I hear Miss Bird out? Obviously... Where the hell is it? We asked more details. Sorry. I always got to double check even though I know what I'm going to say, but... Not so fast, I too am interested in hearing what Miss Bird has to say. Didn't I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. I'll be the judge of that. Miss Bird, if you please. I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 AM, sir. What do you mean by missing? As in it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Portsman, I believe this to be an important piece of testimony, don't you? I can't believe that someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir. Objection. If that's the case, then I'd like to know why you have the master key now. I don't quite know, it just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. A likely story. Where's your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? I bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things, I can practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. Yeah, pal, trust me, you don't want to test just how bad her look is. Well, we all know about her look. Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive. Glad you agree, Miss Edgeworth. But... You still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Miss Edgeworth's office. Her motive? Didn't we already establish that it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. It is, as Mr. Portsman says, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards a motive of theft. But I'm done taking blows, it's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own. Your intent, from the messed up shelves to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery. And we present... There's a motorbike outside. The secret safe presents... Do you wish to continue insisting that Miss Bird was set on stealing something? Why not? It's the truth after all. It was also by your logic that we came to the whole theory conclusion anyway. That may be, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe. The existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe was part of her cunning plan. But she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down. I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Yeah, even I didn't know about that safe, pal. And that means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Well, everyone knows about it now. Then are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion, that's definitely looking more and more probable. What's wrong, prosecutor? You have a different suspect in mind now? Curses, why? What made you? What's with the angry face all of a sudden? It's all my fault. What do you mean? It's Jib. He knew about the existence of the secret safes. What did you just say? Wait. No, I'm sorry, I'm getting really confused here. We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's why I told him. I filled him in on the secret safes. And that means... Yeah, I know, I had only just told him too. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. I still can't quite believe it. But the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim. Now he's claiming that the victim was the thief. And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you? Miss Maggie Bird. Excuse me? I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even in your risky profession. What the? You're still accusing Maggie of the murder? Yes and no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it. It was self-defense, wasn't it? No, I couldn't. I could never do something like that. Not even as a security guard, sir. Plus, even if he was the thief, he wouldn't have a key to this office. Which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Ah! Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us unless... Well, unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything else to make sense. Has he no honour? Well then, I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you people be so kind as to see yourselves out? You can't kick us out. It is Miss Edgeworth's office. Ah, but I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You're all suspects to varying degrees and therefore ineligible to run this show. Listen, pal, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. But sir... We have no choice but to accommodate his request. For now. Haha, thank you, Miss Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Huh. Mark my words, Mr. Portsman, we will meet again. If that's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, then I suppose so. Now don't disappoint me, you hear? To be continued. Oh my god. So it's quite different from the usual Ace Attorney games. You got like actual moving around with the keys in the confined square of the screen. So you move around to examine stuff instead of just, you know, clicking examine, then moving a cursor around to click on certain things. You actually move the character around. And the whole logic thing, I do know for a fact that in the future, in the second game, which has a fan translation, there's a timed part of the game, which I'm not looking forward to if I ever get to play, like, if I get to record the next game. There's a time section, like logic chess, where you have to figure out which option to pick that best suits a situation in a certain amount of time. And I'm not looking forward to that, but hopefully the guide will help me. So yeah, it's pretty interesting and pretty fun. I've played, up until this point in the past, I've never played more than this. I don't know what the story is in the future. I've got no idea how it goes, what characters will show up and stuff. So this is all new to me from this point on, really. So yeah, really, really enjoying it so far. I love Miles Edgeworth. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time for more Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth, where we've been kicked out of his office, so we got to do some more investigating, like, somewhere else, I guess. We'll see how that goes. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.